Welcome back, DFS Rebels. We're here again, week 3, ready to win some money, increase that bankroll. Dante, are you here with me?
I am here, Mr. Rob. Week three is already here. Looking for another successful week here in the DFS Rebels, so I'm really excited to get into it.
I got to admit, my GPPs did really well last week. I was high, Baker Mayfield and all that. But Dante over here was in those cash games, crushing it. I saw all that bankroll piling up, Dante. Good job with the cash games. Always do those cash games, guys. Keep that bankroll in the green, even when your GPPs are missing. Let's get straight into this. I'm doing quarterbacks first. My favorite quarterback on the slate, Patrick Mahomes, and I don't need to go into why I like him, but you don't need to really pair him with anyone. You don't need to stack him with anyone. He's fine by himself, and I have a lot of cheap plays, especially at running back, so it will be easy for me to pay up for him. But besides from Mahomes, has a little kicker for you. 2% owned Desmond Ritter. Okay. I know, a little iffy there, right? You're running the risk that he's on a team that they're like second to last in the NFL for like pass attempts. But I think that was the last week, right? He went 237 yards with a touchdown on 32 attempts, and he ran in a touchdown. I think with the salary you're saving with a 2% ownership against a good matchup, I think he is worth those GPP shots 100% of the time. The other quarterback I really like this week is Trevor Lawrence. Um, Despite being almost a double-digit home favorite against the Texans, he still is going to sling it. He has so many good options to pair. Him and Ridley are going to be a stack for me probably every single week. That's a great pairing, but you cannot shy away from somebody like Kristen Kirk. He was awesome with him last year. So was Zay Jones. If you're looking for those GPP explosion plays, Zay Jones is getting you 3 points or he's getting you like 30 points. So he's always worth it to throw Zay Jones in there with Trevor Lawrence as a build stack. I love him this week. What quarterbacks are you looking at?
So Mahomes obviously is the obvious one, the easy one, the expensive one, but probably has the highest ceiling. He's going against a very weak Chicago Bears defense. He still has his mindset that they passed on him back in 2017 and took Trubisky over him. Obviously, Trubisky's not on a team anymore, and Mahomes since then is a two-time MVP, two-time Super Bowl MVP, all that stuff you guys know already. So yeah, Mahomes best quarterback on the slate this week. I do like Trevor Lawrence a lot, and Desmond Ritter is interesting. I do think he's going to follow up his performance last week with another good fantasy relevant performance this week. And call me crazy, but I kind of like Kyle Pitts this week too for the stack. So yeah, I know Kyle Pitts has been probably one of the worst so-called superstars for any fantasy player across, regular fantasy, DraftKings, FanDuel, anything. But the Lions struggle to defend tight ends. Kyle Pitts is due for a breakout game. Desmond Ritter is actually looking like somebody who could potentially pass the ball now, and Kyle Pitts is the most talented playmaker in the team. So if you're gonna start Desmond Ritter, I want to take the risk of stacking with Kyle Pitts. So yeah, trust me on that. This is the week, Rob. But other than that, there's two quarterbacks in the same game that I like a lot this week who both have high fantasy relevant ceilings this week, and that's Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins. That's going to be a shootout. Both quarterbacks have coming out looking strong so far with their offenses. Both are 0-2. Both need to be looking to finally get that first win of the season. So I really do like both Herbert and Kirk Cousins a lot. If you could afford to stack with Kirk Cousins, obviously try to get Jay Jettis in there. Otherwise, if you can't get Justin Jefferson, then you can even go Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson. And as for Justin Herbert, again, go Keenan Allen. He's the easy one. So I really do like that game a lot for both quarterback, at least quarterback wise.
I love what you're saying. You were talking to me earlier before we got on about Cousins. He's almost 20% owned. I know he's a lock of yours in cash games. I love that. Herbert, just under 10%. He should be around 12% by the time of lock. Great play there. As of Lawrence, he's still around 6, 7%, so he's still a GPP play. I know Houston had his number last year, didn't even get a touchdown against them. And last week, Lawrence had a horrible game. That's why I love him this week to bounce back, especially with Derek Stingley Jr. out. I think he's gonna go off this week. So I'm with you on Cousins for cash. Trevor Lawrence, Des Ridder are my GPP targets for sure. Moving on to running backs, absolutely starting off with Bijan Robinson. Why would I not? The best running back on the slate. Um, he's coming kind of underowned, which is perfect. I'll take that every time. Um, but he's obviously one of the high ones. I talked earlier about going a little cheaper, and my cheap is Joshua Kelly. I love him this week as long as Eckler's out, which I think he is, right? The last I looked.
Yeah, he's
He's a
officially been
lock for
ruled
me.
out.
Yep, yep. I think it's a mismatch on the ground. I think Joshua Kelly's gonna have a great game. And last week when everyone was on him, and I said I'm not using him against Tennessee Titans. Like I'm just not doing that. And then he shit the bed, like I said he would. Now he's low owned, and now I'm going to be on him. And then speaking of that Tennessee Titans defense, everyone is going to be on Jerome Ford. And guess who I'm not going to be on? Jerome Ford. They're going up against the Titans defense, who stops to run very well. So I'm all over Joshua Kelly this week. What about you for running backs?
Running backs. Bijan's a good one. I was thinking Josh Kelly, but obviously you already mentioned him, um, just before. How about the guy on the other side of this field or other sideline from Bijan? I like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot, especially if Montgomery is out. This is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs' breakout game. Falcons' run defense has been solid so far this year. But Jahmyr Gibbs is also going to be the most talented running back they'd be facing because the Falcons faced the Packers last week without Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon's a good, but he's just not as flashy as like Aaron Jones is and not as like Jahmyr Gibbs is. So I do like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot. I believe this is the week where he really starts to break out too, just like fellow rookie Bijan Robinson. And I also want to go to the Saints game or to the Saints game, and I'm gonna give Jamal Williams one more chance before Alvin Kamara comes back. So I'm gonna start.
Is he out though? We got to look. I think he's out, right?
Is he? No, I could be wrong here. I thought he was actually in this week.
I got to go back and double check. I know everyone was really talking about that guy, Jones Jr. So that's something we got to check. But if he's in, sure, yeah, I'd go back
Okay,
to him for sure.
okay, yeah, no, I'm actually looking up. My bad. He is out. I thought I saw someplace that he was in. That's my fault then. All right, then, yeah. You know what? Go Jones then. This is Jones's week.
Got it, got it. I like that. I like that.
My bad for
Um,
having misinformation there. And also one other running back I want to throw at you, Travis Etienne. I know you mentioned that the Texans secondary is weak, but you can also run all over the Texans too. So watch Etienne this week.
I love that. That is a great, great call. Just going Bijan and Gibbs, who should have a breakout game. You're absolutely right. Both coming in around 10% ownership, which I love. Joshua Kelly coming in at 3% ownership. That's why I'm on him on GPPs. It's it all comes together if you just look at the GPPs. You look at where people are going. People are going to Jerome Ford. Stay away from that. Go towards something that they're all shying away from. That's gonna how you're gonna take down the big money games. Obviously, stay away from that in cash games. Actually, Kelly, I'd still probably run the cash game to be completely honest with you. Um, I know you just mentioned Jones, but how do you feel about Kendra Miller, the rookie over there? It sounds like he's gonna be a full go this week against the Packers. There's a weak run defense. They can't stop the run. Um, I don't fully trust that Miller gets a ton of snaps, but we know they're not really going to use Tony Jones like for like a full lead bell cow. So he might get some carries in the end zone and then trick everyone with the low ownership. Do you like Kendrick Miller? Not really.
I do like Jones better because I still think Jones sees majority of the snaps out. He's not going to be like a workhorse Derrick Henry kind of role. It's just not going to, be like that. But still, I still think Jones sees enough of the field to potentially make an impact. And just like you said, the Packers defense cannot stop the run at all. Derek Carr hasn't looked extremely well yet this season, passing wise. So I feel like
Mm.
they'd probably lean more towards run heavy approach, especially since they have both Jones and Miller healthy. But I do think Jones sees majority of the snaps, so that's why I do like Jones, and I'm going to start him in a few lineups, see how that goes out. But I'm optimistic with that one.
Got it. I'm also pretty big on Sean Tucker and Roshan Johnson. I also really like James Cook, who took that step forward as the clear lead back in Buffalo. His opportunity skyrocketed. He was averaging 7 yards per carry. So I'm all over James Cook at his price. I think that if you do like James Cook and Joshua Kelly, you're really paying down there, and it's going to help you get to a Mahomes. But if you want to do like the Desmond Ritter Joshua Kelly, James Cook. It's going to help you get those studs like Justin Jefferson and like a Diggs in your lineup. And really, it's going to be different if you're doing that. And that's what I really like about those guys. Um, Moving on to receivers, Justin Jefferson's right, a lock all the time. Um, Detroit's a little banged up. I saw a Creston tag on Amar St. Brown. I saw it on Joshua Reynolds, who I called touchdown last week on. Um, I think they're good to go. So I think as long as St. Brown is in, um, and everyone's going to be trying to pay up for like Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, St. Brown's a lot less owned. So I think it's a great way to get in there. The Falcons are going to play a ton of man coverage, and that's where Jared Goff looks best. Um, so that's really going to help St. Brown there. I don't know how bad the injury is really going to affect it, but if he's out there, I'm a full go with him. Um, who do you like receiver-wise?
Receiver wise, St. Brown's a good one if he's in, assuming he's in, which I believe he should be. He's been trending like towards it all week. If not, for whatever reason, Khalif Raymond too. Don't forget about that name. If
Yep.
Amon-Ra's out, but if he's in, which I think he will be, definitely go St. Brown. Obviously, you got the studs, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, guys like that. I mean, another stud, but I feel like you should definitely consider, especially if you're going to pay down at running back, like we mentioned before. Go CD Lamb playing against a very weak Cardinals defense and secondary. Cowboys have looked really good all season long. Of course, still going to throw it early on, so definitely go CD Lamb. And
Got it. Yep. I agree. I agree.
I want to tell you what though, I do want to fade Diggs this week. And the only reason why that is because obviously you probably know about the hurricane headed in that area.
Yep.
If the
I
game
do.
still is a go, it's gonna rain. That means there's not gonna be the best conditions, rain and wind. Both teams might be run heavy in that game. So how much is Diggs really gonna see? So in that case, that should be more hype around James Cook and pretty much anybody in the Bills running staff, but mostly James Cook because he is the lead back over there. And I would really fade Diggs in that case and any receiver on the Commanders, obviously, too. So yeah, just keep a status on the weather forecast in the Washington D.C. area and just Maryland in general, and
Yep.
really see if the game is still beyond. If they are, they obviously don't start Diggs and go more like running back in the running back or defense route for those games.
I can't agree more. And talking about the Hurricanes real quick, we'll go back to running backs. Gus Edwards is coming in kind of high owned because he's the only back there now. Justice Hill's injured. And I would still take him. He should run all over them. It is the Hurricane, though, so you're running some risk there. So be careful if you go in Gus Edwards. But Gus the Bus still be a fantastic lock. But continuing with receivers, um, I like Elijah Moore. He has like a low key good matchup there. I like Jaden Reed. Thielen was torching the Saints in the slot. So I don't see why Reed, who's younger, faster, cannot do the same or even more. And he really came out last week and showed what kind of skills he has. Drake London is a great pairing to do with Desmond Ritter if you are going to go that route, like I was suggesting. A lot of people are starting to trend towards Braxton Berrios with Jalen Waddle maybe out. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate it. He had flashes in the past on the Jets, and he does have a better quarterback right now. So I don't hate it. Not my favorite thing if it's higher ownership, but that's definitely a possibility. Um, Amari Cooper is your classic number one receiver against the Titans' pass funnel defense and Kristen Fulton. Obviously, I already mentioned you get people like Calvin Ridley, Kristen Kirk, Zay Jones are all big targets of mine this week. I might even do a triple stack of Lawrence, Ridley, Kirk, or Lawrence, Ridley, Zay Jones. I think it's just going to be an absolute slugfest over there. If you want to bring it back, you want to bring it back, right? So you got to get cheap, bring it back with Tank Dell. It should be a very negative game script, which is going to cause them to like throw the ball more. I do like Nico Collins a bit more than Tank Dell, but Tank Dell's so cheap that it's just going to let you get other studs in your lineup, and that's why I want to go towards him. And GPPs only, only GPPs. Is there any other receivers you're really on, or just the ones you were mentioning?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I was about to mention Tank Dell, Nico Collins, but obviously beat me to it. But the reason why I like those two receivers a lot is because I don't know how that Texas run offense is going to look with Dameon Pierce. I think Dameon Pierce is, he's got all the talent in the world, My only problem with that is the Texas O-line is pretty banged up. They might not get a lot going on the ground. The Jaguars have defended the run well all year, so that might force the Texans to pass the ball more, especially if they're playing from behind. So yeah, in that case, Nico Collins, Tank Dell should be almost automatic guys in the lineup, especially Tank Dell, so you can pay low, be a little cheaper over there. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of names I could think of. I do like the idea of Jaden Reed, but I want to hold just to see what Christian Watson's status will be because I think that'll go down if Christian Watson actually is suiting up. And I heard he is trending towards suiting up this week, but that could obviously still change to Sunday. If Christian Watson's out, then Jaden Reed. But I am gonna fade Jaden Reed if Watson is in. And I
Makes
do
sense.
like Barrios a lot, and I'll tell you why right now. Is because if Waddle is out, which obviously is looking like it, Tyreek Hill obviously is a stud. He'll still do his damage, but obviously Pat Surtain, and the Broncos defense and the whole Broncos defense, they'll be more worried about Tyreek Hill now that Waddle is out, that might leave a guy like Barrios open. So who knows? And Barrios already has seen his fair share of targets, even with Hill and Waddle healthy. Now one of those guys are out. So I really do think if somebody is going to be, like a break, have like a maybe I wouldn't go as far as saying like breakout big statement game, but somebody can really have a relevant fantasy impact for you this week could be Braxton Berrios, and obviously he's going to be cheap, so keep your eye on him. I think that's he's definitely going to be at least in one or two of my lineups.
Okay, you know what? You talked me into it. I'll throw him in there for sure. Absolutely. Going on to tight ends, Travis Kelsey coming in around 13% ownership, still kind of low for kids for the best tight end in the league. You'd figure that'd be close to the 20-ish range. TJ Hawkinson, um, kind of like good price, I think. Chargers going to run a heavy mix of like cover three and blitz, which opens up the field for TJ Hawkinson. And like you already said, you love Cousins, so there's no reason not to pair them up. Laporta, great. He's a great price. He's getting the targets. He's a key pass catcher for the Lions offense. The Falcons are going to show a lot of blitz, a lot of cover three zone, and that's where he's going to shine. So he's another one. You could do you could do two tight ends this week if you want to get different. One to flex, you could do like a Laporta and a Hawkinson, and be completely different if you're getting like some cash game plays in there, like a Cousins and stuff like that. Like you said, pitch earlier, love it. It's gross, but I need it. He's cheap. If you're gonna go the Desmond Ritter route, this is the guy to go to. He's like under 5% on. You got to go for it. One of these games, he's gonna explode. One of them, and you want to be on it when it happens. You got to be on Zach Ertz, right? Like Zach Ertz has been like the number one target over there in Arizona. He's been fantastic. He's getting bombarded, and I'm back on the Zach Ertz train after all this time. Uh, I was gonna look at like people like Kincaid and Turner, but with the hurricane, I'm kind of completely off that. Uh, but with the chances of Joe Burrow being out, uh, I do like Irv Smith.
Yeah, but Rob, that's Monday night though. Remember that.
It is the Monday. No, it is the Monday night game, but so we're not gonna. I guess you could do the slate where you do like the Sunday Monday games. We're probably not gonna do a podcast before that. I just wanted to throw him in there,
That's fair.
especially for
Yeah.
people. Yeah, for the people doing like season leagues too. Irv Smith might be a great target for the rookie Browning. But back to DFS and just for the Sunday slate, I'm gonna fade Kincaid and Turner just because of the hurricane. What tight ends do you like? I already know you like Pitts.
So yeah, I do like Pitts. Obviously, you mentioned there's really not a whole lot I can add to this, just because you mentioned all the top guys I was thinking of too. Obviously, Kelsey, easy one, of course. That's obvious. Anybody can figure that out. Anybody who watches football can figure that one out. Uh, Laporta, I like him a lot. I have him in fantasy, so I'm very optimistic for him over there. And I think he's going to have his best game of his young career so far. So definitely watch Laporta. Lions are going to pass the ball a lot. They always do. So keep your eyes on him. Kyle Pitts, yeah, he's been gross fantasy wise recently, last year, this year so far, but he will break out eventually. He's just too talented not to. And I think this is one of the best opportunities he's had in a while. Hawkinson, of course, like you said, too easy, especially with the matchup with Kirk Cousins looking really good so far. With Kirk Cousins having another favorable matchup, too easy. But I'll tell you what, here's one interesting name that I want to have you consider. I'm not saying it's necessarily be all over him, but just to keep in mind, Durham Smythe, tied into the Miami Dolphins, coming in at 2,900. Jalen Waddle is out again. Tyreek Hill might have a lot of the attention. So maybe that'll lead to more open lanes for a guy like Barrios, a guy like Durham Smythe. So keep your eye on Durham Smythe. He's really cheap. You could really pay up elsewhere if you do have him in one of your lumps, but take a chance. So that's a name I'm going to keep, with me just in case, in case I would need to pay down somewhere. That's going to be the guy.
Hey, okay, I hear you. I'm on it. I like it. I like it. You gotta look at defenses. There's a lot of good defenses this week. A lot. But my favorites are obviously Cowboys, Chiefs, Jaguars, Ravens, Patriots. Those are my favorite ones. Oh, also the Panthers. Um, so with that being said, some of my favorite cash game plays this week is Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, Joshua Kelly, Keenan Allen, Braxton Berrios, if Waddle is out, Hawkinson, not Hawkinson, I'm sorry, and Ertz. Those are my favorite cash games. My favorite GPP plays: Hawkinson, Lamb, Desmond Ritter, St. Brown, Javante Williams, Kyle Pitts. Uh, those are all like to how you get for the cash games and the GPPs. That's where I'll be trending in that route. Any final comments?
Yeah, no, just real quick to mention on defenses, you named all the easy ones and the obvious ones. I just want to throw one more defense in there is the Jets. And I know the Patriots probably favored, they're probably going to win too, but I expect that game to be such a low scoring game. There could be a couple turnovers on each from each team. So if you guys have the Patriots defense in one league, maybe start the Jets defense in another league because the Jets defense is still a really good unit too. There's not going to be a lot of points scored in that one by either side, I think. So just want to give you an extra defense to consider, for your lineups.
Yeah, I like it. I like where you're going with that. Hey, keep those bank rolls high, guys. Keep those cash games good. Don't worry about spending all your money in the GPPs. Just keep in the green at all times. This is DFS Rebels. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Give Dante a hi. Give him a hug if you ever see him. We are out. Join the rebellion.
Remember, 1,000 subscriber face reveal if that happens.